Hi. So today I'm going to talk about which finance and risk management techniques you must learn if you want to work as a quant in investment companies, either on the buy side or on the sell side. If you want to work as a quant in such companies, what core finance topics that you must learn, right? Now, there's a perception that quant finance is more about quant, right? It's more about mathematics. It's more about machine learning, writing code using Python or C++. But actually, it's a lot more than that. Of course, as a beginner, nobody will expect you to be an expert in finance. And in fact, knowledge of finance is not a prerequisite in many firms, but it will help you a lot if you actually gain knowledge of finance to work in such companies. So it's absolutely important that you learn or at least develop an interest in finance in order to be a successful quant anywhere, but certainly in investment companies, right? So it's not just about mathematics. There's a lot more to it, right? Some high frequency trading companies, they don't care much about the finance and the theoretical topics. They play around with data, and they just buy and sell on a very quickly. So that is a different kind of business. But a lot of the quants don't work with high frequency trading firms. They work at companies which are more into long term investment. It could be mutual funds, it could be hedge funds, it could be pension funds, and so on and so forth, sovereign wealth funds, and so on. And these firms don't just buy and sell, right? They really spend a lot of time in developing investment strategies, and they allocate money and stick around for a long time before they exit a position. So that's a different kind of role, right? If you want to get into such a role, right, you can either work for big banks. They have the investment research wings. You can work as a quant there. There are different types of investment strategies. There are different types of kinds of departments based on the financial assets. Could be on the fixed income side, equity, commodities, derivative, and so on and so forth. But that could be also a lot more than that, right? These are some of based on the asset classes, but it could be even based on investment philosophy. For example, you could have a dedicated team for the macro level, sorry, the macro investment, just for just leveraging the macroeconomic scenarios, right? So that could also be the case. So what topics that you must learn in order to work in such an environment, right? So it's not just the bank, right? You could also work with dedicated investment firms, which are not necessarily banks. For example, companies like Robeco, just it's not a bank, but it's an investment wing. You have the sovereign wealth funds of Arabic countries, right? The UAE, but also the Nordic countries. I think most European countries have their own sovereign wealth fund, and they hire fund managers for that, right? So a lot of the people are like CFAs and PhD finance, many even without CFA or PhD finance, but come from other industries, like for example, banking and insurance industries. So what topics that you must learn in order to be a successful kind in these places? First of all, I think it's very important to know what are the different financial instruments and what are the different features of these instruments, right? Could be equities, could be commodities, bonds, and etc. etc. So good to know what are the financial instruments, right? Uh, there could be traded instrument that are traded on a regular basis. Trading doesn't happen just on exchanges. There could be also other sort of trading, right? Conventional, not so conventional. Good to know that, right? Also good to know how securities are traded, right? Most people who do stock trading, they all they have this perception that the trading is more about just clicking on the app and just buy and sell. That was different actually. Even 10, 15, I think 20 years back, that was different, right? There used to be physical shares where you go and buy with signatures and everything. And that used to be a problem when people used to buy and sell share. There used to be signature mismatch and all of that used to happen before the electronic trading became popular. But beyond this electronic trading, there are also other ways of trading different assets, and it's not just the shares of companies that are traded in the market. There are many more instruments which are traded in the market, and good to know what these instruments are. Some are more popular than the others, but you can make money everywhere. Do you know even energy is traded? Oil and gas is traded. There are dedicated trading firms or research firms investing only into energy, right? Right. Probably, I think some of you probably know this, but I'm saying for absolute beginners that these things do happen, right? I think this goes without saying that regardless of where you work, you must learn portfolio theory. It doesn't matter whether you work in investment companies or in banks, in risk management, insurance companies. Absolutely important to learn portfolio theory, right? Understanding of the risk return reward and the risk return trade-off, how to allocate capital between risky asset and risk-free assets, right? What is risk-free rate? Whether risk-free asset is actually risk-free or not. Not all assets are risk-free. You have risk-free assets, but with some sort of risk. Understanding of solvency and all of that. How do you have an optimal portfolio with an acceptable level of risk, and how to quantify that acceptable level of risk? All those things you learn in portfolio theory. There are many academic topics involved there. For example, the Markovich models and all those, modern portfolio theory, all that you will learn, right? If you ever learn any finance, these things are very common topics. Okay. Understanding of some academic models such as capital asset pricing model, CAPA model, or the arbitrage asset pricing theory, APT, right? Multi-factor models for risk and return, right? It's also important. Efficient market theory, behavioral finance, all that will also be very, very important, right? Especially understanding of efficient market theory and making an opinion about it. It's a very a very debated theory in the field of financial market. Good to know actually what's your views on that, right? Some people believe it completely, some people don't believe it at all, and some people have a very balanced view on this. And sometimes they believe, sometimes they don't, or at least they believe in certain parts of the theory and don't believe in other parts. So you really have to know as to why. So the good to know the debate actually. Um, it's a very famous debate between Fama and French, who came up with this theory and went on to win Nobel Prize in economics for that. Fama and French, both economists from University of Chicago, a university where Mr. Raghuram Rajan, former governor, is also professor there. So Fama and French are very, two economists. They are very famous in the field of finance. And then there is a very big opposition to this theory from, some professors from Yale University. Robert Schiller is one. In fact, Robert Schiller has got amazing videos on YouTube on portfolio theories. You can go and watch. I think in Yale University YouTube channel there are some good videos from Robert Schiller, right? So those videos sometimes very slow and can be slightly boring, but amazing videos, right? He keeps it simple, and teaching style is also something I like. So you could also watch these videos to understand more about the portfolio theory, and the relevant academic material on that. Okay, so beyond this, you should also learn about fixed income securities, the bonds, how bonds are valued, the yields on bond, relationship between yield and the maturity. Very important, right? These questions are also asked in some quant interviews, right? um, Very important to also have good understanding of macroeconomic theory, some macroeconomic theory, because macroeconomics itself is a very vast area, right? You cannot cover everything there, right? Understanding of macroeconomics to the extent it is useful in your investment activities, right? Could be basics, understanding of how inflation is related to interest rate, Yeah, you have many macroeconomic variables, right? How they're interlinked, right? All that is important. Forecasting values of macroeconomic variables in the future, doing scenario analysis, all that is important. If you work in on the risk side of investment, you will be doing more stress testing, right? That you will do best on macroeconomic forecasting. So therefore, macroeconomics is so important. Um, yeah. You should have also some understanding of equity valuation, right? Valuation of equities. How do you value an equity, right? If you watch some of these videos of also Damodaran, he has also a YouTube channel. You can watch some of his videos. Amazing videos. If you want to learn valuation, he's the go-to person. Beyond that, you must also learn about derivatives. Well, derivatives are less popular compared to they used to be before financial crisis of 2008. They're still quite popular, right? So good understanding of options, futures, and forwards, and different types of derivatives. Equity derivatives, interest rate derivatives, how to price them, the Black-Scholes model, all of that. But Black-Scholes model, it's more mathematical. Obviously, it's already a very highly quantitative topic. But understanding of the risk neutral strategy, all of that, very non-quantitative things, must you must learn. Right? That's very important. Um, all right, so these are some of the things that you should learn, right? If you have done FRM or CFA, I'm sure you have covered all of this. If you have done MBA Finance, I'm sure you probably have covered most of the things. But a lot of the people work in quant without having any qualification in finance, which is fine, by the way. In my personal opinion, that's not a problem at all. But you should learn some of the finance stuff, actually, right? It really is useful. The course that I have built, my own certification course on quant finance, I have also covered a lot of non-quant related topics, things from corporate finance, from risk management, from behavioral finance, macroeconomics, even microeconomics a bit. Right, these, so some of the important topics are very important. You don't have to be a super duper expert in everything in finance. That's practically impossible, but knowing some stuff from finance helps a lot. So you need to know a bit about everything, and then more and more about your own specialization, right? If you specialize in equities, make sure that you know everything about equity. If you specialize on commodities, make sure that you have pretty good knowledge of commodities. If you specialize on lending, corporate lending, let's say, make sure that you have pretty good understanding of corporate lending, right? So these are some of the things you must learn if you really want to work as quant in any place, in fact, but certainly in quant investment area, right? If you have further questions, as always, reach out to me. If you want to check my courses, reach out to me. It's quite comprehensive course I built with a lot of effort. And if you want to become a quant and learn more about quant finance, this is a decent beginner friendly course. um, so let me know. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching.